Okay.
You wash your hands?
I know those are some tough acts to follow, but I did write a few things down about the guys that
Can't hear you.
can't
Oh, you're all right.
Okay. Al Kirk. Al's an electrician, and I worked with him at the Veterans Home for 26 years. Well, this is mushroom season, and I've hunted mushrooms with Al, I think probably 2 times. And he has a hard time finding mushrooms. So, anyway, there was this old member out at the Veterans Home that was selling mushrooms. He had found a few. So Al bought them. They were $10 a pound. So Al bought a pound. And this member brought them in, and he sold them. Al gave him $10. So the guy left, and boy, he was just proud as a peacock, and Al bought a pound of mushrooms. So after the guy left, he opened them up, and they were water soaked. He paid $10 for about a quarter pound of mushrooms. True story. Don Harvey. Don, I was going to tell about the story on 24th Street, but you've already covered that. But they had been married, happily married for 44 years. Anyway, Don was working at Monogram Stove. He mentioned that about the draftsman. Anyway, he was a head draftsman, and he was able to get me a job there in the drafting department. Don taught me the finer points about being a draftsman. But you know what my most important job was there at Monogram? Opening and closing the friggin' windows. Draft, you know, draft. So proud. Maybe you're still laughing. It's only going to get worse. Missy Dempsey. Missy is my niece, my sister Ann's daughter. Coronitis. I don't think many of you have ever heard of this word before. Whether you know it or not, you're going to find out now. You have to know Missy. She has a master's degree in early childhood special education and teaches in Kirksville, Missouri. About 8 years ago, Missy and her husband Lance lived next to a cornfield. Well, I thought everybody knew what happens to corn in the fall of the year. It turns from green stalks to brown stalks. Missy went to her mom and asked her why the corn was dying. She thought the corn was dying. She didn't have a clue. And explained to her that corn does this in the fall of the year. We told Ron Peter this story. He told us that when this happens, they call it coronitis. You know why Ron knew this? Because he has a degree from Cornell College in Cornell, Iowa. Now, also, soybeans can do the same thing. They call that beanitis. Ron Dreyer is my second cousin. Whatever that means. He is deputy chief of the Quincy Police Department. And apparently, they must not pay him very good there. Because he has to moonlight at Cedar Crest in those high-paying jobs as president of the club and in charge of the golf course. Where am I at?
Maybe you got a pay again, buddy.
Okay. No, and all kidding aside, Ron, you do a super job. You're done. Except he's got number 4 off the street up out there in the gold. Let me tell a little story today. Henri accidentally hit his ball out there, and we were told, well, we weren't told, Becky was supposed to tell everybody not to walk out there on that mud and everything, so.
But you knew.
Yes, I did, but Becky, so I walked around everything, didn't walk on that. It would have been much simpler to walk on that hay, because it kind of held you up a little bit. I walked around it, and I had to walk almost to the leg to get his ball. And then he hit another freaking ball in there. Anyway, we left that one in. But anyway, when I got back, I think there was about a pound of mud on my shoe. Gary Darnell, he was one of the so-called dancers. Gary loves to fish, but doesn't find much time to do it. About 15 years ago, he decided to fish while he was working. Gary works for the post office as a rural route mail carrier. He thought his postal route truck would float. Where's he at? Where's Gary at?
To your right.
He thought it would float, see? So he drove it into a water ditch in the South Bottom. And naturally, it wouldn't float. And you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Didn't get any fish, thank God. But the mail that did come out of the truck did float, and luckily he was able to retrieve it all. Okay, this could be a good one. I think everybody here has heard about the ad, new bath in a day. Well, they really got this saying from Gary. Only his quote is, new siding on your house in 7 years. That's how long it took Gary to put new siding on his house. True story. Or was it 8 years, Gary? Okay, we've got Kathy Vogt. She's my favorite sister-in-law. A few months ago, Kathy got into the vending machine business. She tried to program the machine, it just wouldn't work right. She kept pressing where it said, press here. Nothing happened. So she ordered a new programmer, thinking that would work. Same thing happened. So she finally called her son-in-law, Dave Wedding, and it didn't take him long to figure it out. She was pressing the press here sticker. That had a little arrow next to it, pointing over to a red button. He is now pressing the red button and everything is working. Now, I don't know for sure if I got this all right, but it's probably going to win. Last week, Kathy went up to Spirit Knob Winery, north of Ursa, about 20 minutes from Quincy. On the way back home, she took the scenic route. First, she made the wrong turn at Ursa. Instead of coming right to Quincy, she took a left and ended up in Mendon. Turned around and came. Don't change the story. Turned around and came back to Ursa, made a left-hand turn there, and headed towards Quincy. Got to 24. Instead of coming to Quincy, she took a left and ended up in the grand city of Camp Point. And in the meantime, she's calling her daughter Angie, kept calling her to find out what to do, and Angie said she must have called 50 times. So anyway, then she gets back to the interstate, 172, and turns left, and is supposed to turn on Broadway. She misses Broadway. She has to go all the way to the Payson Quincy turnoff and finally gets home probably an extra 60 miles. Oh, the gas. I didn't get that part of it. The gas was on. There's not a filling station anywhere out there. I don't even think there's one in Camp Point, is there? Is there Denny Hall? There is one? Okay. I'm going to tell this one about Ron and Charlene, a couple stories about Ron and Charlene. I had them down here. Ron always said that he has Charlene under his thumb.